Annapolis, Maryland's capital city, is on Chesapeake Bay. We arrived and checked into the Westin Hotel. After a long travel day, we stopped at a bar for a little pick-me-up.
It definitely has an early American spooky vibe, so it was a great place to start our 3-city fall tour.
We got some rest and went out to do some nighttime exploration.
It's so different from the West Coast. It's quaint, and I never use that word.
One of my biggest fears is going to a cemetery at night, so Pat had a field day with that.
Unmarked soldiers.
See, look at the shadow on the tree.
Come on, let's go explore. Hey, what if we played this back and saw people?
Stick around for when I make Persephone go through the cemetery later.
Spirit finders.
Public storage has a lighthouse.
All right, you just went to your first cemetery at night.
I didn't like it.
How you feel? He gave you the poops?
It did.
We pulled up to Chicken Ruth's Deli, a local spot known for its crab cakes. When you're in New England, seafood is a must. The Man vs. Food show was here, so it's good, right?
You gonna do it? Diabetes? We get a t-shirt or whatever.
Bragging rights.
The crab cakes were massive and delicious. Steph's girl Martini pulled up on us to show us around.
Came for you.
I cannot believe it. Literally, she's 5 minutes away. All the way from California. If that ain't if that ain't what they give me, I don't want it.
Where you want it?
We ended up going to an arcade called the Game On Bar. It was filled with retro arcade games and pinball machines.
That's the first alcohol I ever had.
It even sold 21-plus Capri Sun pouches with liquor in them. So much nostalgia.
Look at him. Pat got some moves on him. The next day, we walked over to Taw's garden. This 5-acre garden includes a Western Maryland forest, a streamside environment, and an Eastern Shore peninsula.
The trees were beautiful.
What do the leaves do?
They fall out.
Being born and raised in Los Angeles, I never really experienced the changing leaves. It really is magical.
I've never seen a bridge bench before.
In addition, the barrier-free garden contains pleasant ponds, a raised planter, and plants of varied textures, tastes, and fragrances.
Stripper pole? Really? Wow.
Look at this waffle rock. Those squares happen naturally. Crazy, right?
We definitely jazzed up our time around the garden with silliness. Look at us.
Twerking in the forest, twerking in the forest.
Take a seat. Pat stepped in some poop. What happened here, Pat?
I stepped on the one piece that's out here.
You knew food was coming next. We stopped at Miss Shirley's Cafe for some unique entrees. The food was fantastic.
We ordered cran apple cider mimosas and some chorizo cheeseburger fried deviled eggs. Persephanie got the challah French toast with sausage and eggs, and I got the chicken and cheddar green onion waffles. Super unique menu.
We did a lot of walking this trip. We visited some historic landmarks, but we got there just as they were closing, so we got to enjoy it from the outside.
We ended up at the city docks. Boats, shops, and locals were all around. Quaint.
We then randomly got in a water taxi and had him take us on an unofficial tour of the harbor.
We just told them we wanted to tag along while they worked. We're such tourists.
All right, so I'm about to do a water taxi. Just a little cruise, random but fun.
How old are you? Pretty close.
The water taxi picked people up from their boats, different docks, and even from restaurants. What a life out here, right?
On the way back, we saw a Kunta Kinte Alex Haley Memorial.
We chilled with Kunta Kinte from Roots for a quick second. Then we did the exact opposite of what he would suggest. We went and got on a random ship.
We're crazy.
This was a literal pirate ship that still sailed.
And is this like a public thing that goes out sometimes, or
Sometimes it's public.
Ooh, look at that view.
see the sunset vibes?
I see you. It's so pretty. Now, you know, if we gonna do anything, we gonna eat. So we then went to Chop Tank's Steakhouse for some good eats.
We got the Maryland crab dip, along with a Long Island iced tea and a drink called Tell No Tales.
Ew. I tried to freak Pat out sometimes. I think the knives worked.
Wow, you almost killed yourself.
For the main event, an 8-ounce filet and a 12-ounce New York strip, both topped with rock shrimp scampi.
Happy dance. Happy dance. Happy dance.
Mink, mink, mink. Oh.
Hit that. Hit that.
The food was bussin'.
Air flip.
The walk back was interesting. This giant Elmo was just creepy, but not as creepy as where we were going.
Take your in there, right there. No, go in right there, since you're so froggy.
That's grass.
You are froggy. Go in right here.
Are going in at the next one.
We are not doing any of that.
I was
There's no
scared.
lights right here.
You're right.
There's no lights right
No,
here.
you're right
So
about
you
that.
mean to tell me
But we got to
that...
have our own light.
Wait, what are you doing? Patrick.
I wanted Persephone to face her biggest fear, so I just disappeared into the cemetery in a cloud of spooky smoke. Aren't I supportive?
I can't go any further. I felt sick to my stomach, but all in all, I was happy I did it and survived. I don't ever want to do that again.
Really? It's a strong black woman right here. How could you have any fear right now? I just cleansed you.
Who are you, Jesus Christ?
No, I'm just somebody who helped you through a traumatizing situation. You literally just completed your biggest fear. There was crosses, it was pitch black. How you feel? You feel like you dominated? Give me a celebration dance. Force it. Celebration dance. Huh. Celebration dance. Huh. Celebration dance. Huh.
We packed up and headed to St. Michael's for a day to explore the city.
It was a long Uber drive. So long that the driver told us there was no Uber or Lyft where we were going, and we might be stuck. That was promising.
St. Michael's is a town in Talbot County, Maryland. It was traditionally a center of farming, boat building, crabbing, and tonging for oysters.
Since it was so last minute, the only place we could find was a small inn not too far from the downtown area. It was quaint.
She even got spine bumps in her thong. You ain't got no ass.
That hoodie came with 2 tacos and a job, nigga.
At the time, roast meat was in post-production, so I had to make time for that.
The town is so small that transportation is slim. This became a problem for us.
We walked to downtown St. Michael's, which is a long street of old Victorian buildings turned into little shops and bars. Quaint. We even saw a small graveyard at a church, which gave Persephone flashbacks.
Patrick, come back. Patrick. I'm staying away from graveyards. You don't want to go in the church?
The town's decorations were festive.
I'm melting.
We stopped into the Carpenter Street Fig Saloon for some drinks.
Time to eat. We went to the Crab Claw for some delicious food.
Our table was right on the water. Like if I stretched too hard, it would be over. The water was also filled with tiny white jellyfish. This table was treacherous for no reason. I felt like Indiana Jones. The place was run by people who must have majored in crab studies. They knew what they were doing. But we're black, so somehow we ended up with chicken wings. They had Old Bay on them, though. Of course, we ordered crab Imperial, which is baked jumbo crab meat in creamy Imperial sauce. It's a local favorite. I got a fried crab cake burger with homemade slaw. It was so soft. After a boat literally pulled up to our table, we decided we wanted to get on a watercraft also. So we went to the Chesapeake Bay Maritime Museum, which is basically an old shipyard.
Performance time. Y'all know I channeled my inner Janet Jackson. We heard a little turned-up bar, so we stopped in for some drinks. A drunk bridal party came over to hang with us. They were amazed to see black people that they didn't know in the town.
What? No, honestly, what are you doing in Maine?
We just be going to random places.
How do you, on a scale from 1 to 10, how do you feel about Maryland?
We like it.
They were cool.
We are beautiful.
They really liked Persephone. Like, really liked it.
Yeah. Look at how gorgeous you are. What do you mean?
I don't think there's a lot of black people out here.
So, were we stranded?
us. And then if I zoom out, it's like...
We realized we were stuck in St. Michael's. No Ubers, Lyfts, buses, trains, or taxis.
It's looking like it's gonna be an interesting story on how we get out of here. Keep you updated.
Long story short, we found a random business card of a private driving service in the lobby of the inn. She was a nice lady. She took us all the way to Dover, Delaware. She drove really fast.
Oh, Delaware, a small mid-Atlantic U.S. state that sits on a peninsula marked by dune-backed beaches bordering the Atlantic Ocean.
We stopped by Delaware State University and had a look around. It was a nice campus. Delaware is beautiful. Vibrant fall trees, gorgeous bodies of water. It had a real Paul Revere vibe to it, if you get what I'm saying.
As soon as we arrived, it was time to eat. We stopped at McGlynn's Pub for some fire food. The atmosphere was so peaceful and quiet.
I usually don't like pubs because they feel racist. This one was really inviting though, and the lakeside eating area was amazing. We ordered crab and shrimp deviled eggs.
Oh, different.
Got the crab, the shrimp.
A Philly cheese queso dip. The food here was delectable. A farmhouse burger, and the French onion steak sandwich, which was cooked in French onion soup. Woo!
The main place where the settlers came, to do everything.
Upon exploring the city, we were stopped by a really fun restaurant bartender who convinced us to come in for drinks, music, and to try their specialty menu items. They also gave us ideas of the best places to go.
The owner of the spot came out and hooked us up with some food. Taco Tuesday.
So this is called Coma Taco. A coma taco because it has 3 different types of cheeses inside that jalapeno. Then I have a special cheese that's from Mexico called Oaxaca cheese.
Ooh, I like the double shell.
Yeah.
Everyone's customer service always.
There it is. Ooh!
Look at this crazy cemetery. I think Pat enjoys torturing me with cemeteries.
Wish this gate wasn't here. We should get on the other side of it. We walked around some more, and I'm not gonna lie, this part of town was kind of spooky, which was perfect because the locals at the bar told us about a haunted attraction called Frightland.
So, we're about to go to Frightland. So I guess this is your way of getting prepared.
Yeah, we got to be interacting with the spirits, so we might as well start off with a nice little old school stone graveyard cemetery for the land, where a lot of powdered wigs were laid to rest.
You and these powdered wigs.
That evening, we went to one of the nation's most terrifying Halloween carnivals, Frightland, in Middleton, Delaware. So scary, the Travel Channel rated it in the top 10 scariest haunted attractions in the U.S., and I concur.
We were pleasantly surprised. There were carnival games, all types of food.
We saw some sweet treats and decided to try them. We had a fried PB&J and a funnel cake. The fried PB&J was something special.
And of course, the haunted mazes. The visuals, costumes, and overall aesthetic was awesome.
They didn't really let us film in the mazes and haunted houses, but we caught some of the creepiness.
Yep. Oh, okay. We gotta go in there.
Not to mention the mazes were scary. There was a prison maze, a haunted hayride, and a maze that was pitch black. So creepy.
You look spooky.
Frightland was an insanely great time. Highly recommended for Halloween lovers.
I had a fantastic time on this trip. I would definitely recommend exploring Maryland, St. Michael's, and Delaware. Until next time, keep your bags packed.
Howdy, y'all.
Howdy, partner.
Happy Halloween. It's good to be back.
Happy Halloween to you too, sir.
Whoa. Hang on. I gotta put my horse up in a stable real quick. Hang on. Give me a second.
It looked like he kind of drunk. Whoa. What you been giving that horse to drink?
All right, we're back. We put my horse up.
Okay, you got your horse in the stable.
Got the horse all set up.
He kind of started tripping in there.
He got a little salt lick. We are in the fall season. Shout out to y'all for pulling up for summer.
Oh my God. Like y'all really
pulled up.
Yes. We have so many views on all of our episodes. We really appreciate it. And we know that y'all really, really like the show. So we doing something right.
And the exciting thing about the fall season is this was done like a year ago.
Right.
So we went right when the leaves were perfect, when the leaves were leaving. Mm-hmm. And we're both from LA, so I don't know how much time you spent in the East Coast or New England or stuff.
No.
I never really got a fall.
No.
Never really got the foliage. Mm-hmm. So this was very cool. And we went on Halloween.
We did. What's going on with your hat? I just want to know.
It's a horrible cowboy hat. You got the whole Beyonce disco ball thing.
Yes.
I look like a cartoon bad guy.
Put him up.
Put him up. But no, this was a really fun trip. We were able to put 3 cities into one. And they were initially going to be all separate episodes, but we're like, hey, this is the season premiere. You guys have been pulling up for the longer episodes, so why not put it all together for a Halloween special?
Yep. So we did 3 places this time. We did Maryland, St. Michael's, and Delaware.
So, I mean, we back. We might as well just jump right into it.
Yep.
Before we do the foods, this is the first time we had multiple cities. What was your favorite city?
I would say my favorite city was Dover / Middleton because the people there were just so lively and fun.
Yeah.
And then it was just kind of weird. We went from walking in like a prestigious neighborhood, and then it seemed like as soon as we crossed the street, we were in like Slumville. But it was like, it kind of reminded me of LA having like hidden gems like in crazy little areas.
There were some spooky parts of every city, honestly. When you in a city that's that old and they just have cemeteries everywhere going back to the 1800s and stuff, like it does give a spooky vibe. LA just seems like new, like everything just seems like it's been here for 45 years.
Every time you say cemetery, I get a little shook.
Oh, we gonna talk about it. I want to say my favorite spot was Annapolis.
Okay.
I think out of the 3 cities, Annapolis was just like, it had like a major city vibe to it. And, being ignorant about New England, I'd be kind of like weary about everything. In terms of just being black there, but Annapolis,
for
sure. it was a cool little mixing pot. It was a lot of different people, and I think that the food was best there too.
Okay, yeah. For sure.
We'll definitely get into that because we were eating on this trip. The 2 themes of this trip specifically for me was food and spontaneity. Because it seemed
chomping down.
Everything we did was just on a whim. We were just told about things, just hopped on stuff, went places, and we didn't really know anything that we were doing. This was way before we were like strict on our itinerary.
Right, for sure. I enjoyed every part of this trip. From the people was really what made it for me, but then there was the food that was amazing, and then just the atmosphere, like the air just felt kind of clean. Like, and I'm pretty big about clean air.
Yeah. So many trees.
So the views were just viewing. It was beautiful.
So let's just jump into it then. What was your favorite dish out of all 3 cities?
I think it was when we went to Chop Tank. We went to Chop
that was in
Tank
Annapolis, right?
In Annapolis.
Okay.
And we had the steak with the shrimp scampi on top. Oh my God, just the butter was just dripping down. And it was so succulent. Succulent. It was cooked to perfection. I'm big on cooking temps, so they got it right. It was so good.
There was a lot of good food in Annapolis. I mean, the crab is just different out there. It seemed like every single place had the crab on deck. But I'm actually going to give the prize to St. Michael's when we were in Crab Claw.
Okay.
I thought that eating experience overall was so bizarre. Like, I've never, with liabilities and stuff in LA, like I've never seen a table placed so close to the edge. There was no guardrail.
If you would have sneezed, it would have been over.
You are literally looking dead at the water, and there was jellyfish in them. I don't know anything about that species of jellyfish, if they would have hurt you or not. But it was just
they were very small, but there was a lot of them.
It was a really intense situation, but it was very scenic and very different. And then they gave us the Old Bay wings. They gave us the crab Imperial, which I had never heard of. Just that nice crab dip with the chunky crab meat, the jumbo crab. And then I had the crab cake burger, which was you could see it in the shot. It was just the bread was soft, the crab cake was
fantastic.
fried, so good. So overall, that experience was great.
That restaurant was so funny to me because we don't have this on camera, but they don't have Lyft and Ubers and stuff like that around the town. So we were constantly trying to figure out like how we were gonna get to
Anywhere.
the next spot. And one of the waitresses offered her friend to come and take us
One of
to
the cooks.
one of the cooks.
He was like, yeah, Randy's about to get off in 10 minutes. He could take you back. And we were like, that is very nice, but absolutely not. Tell Randy thanks, but
Thanks, but no thanks.
We'll
we
hoof it.
ended up kind of regretting that decision later, but
I mean, he wouldn't have taken us to Dover for
hey,
sure.
he might have.
That was a really cool part of the trip. Like I said, the spontaneity in terms of like we didn't know what was going on. We went to St. Michael's randomly.
So I would say if you're ever going to St. Michael's, you definitely want to rent a car.
Rent a car.
Rent
Because
a
you
car.
saw the GPS on our phone. It was like on this what are those things called? The archipelago? It's like an island, but it ain't an island.
I'm gonna
it's attached
say
it's attached to the land.
I called the Lyft at like 4:00 in the morning. So I had set it up to pick us up at 8:15.
And they were like, "Yep, we got you."
And it was, we got you. So from 4:00 in the morning all the way on, it was saying searching for a ride. And I was just like, oh my God, we're not going to get out of here.
I feel like they said like, okay, you good. And then when the time came, they were like, we don't have anybody
Right,
for you.
you're not good.
So at least they gave us like peace of mind overnight. But then in the morning, they were like, remember what you asked last night?
Right.
Couldn't find them.
So a little married couple has a car service.
Yeah.
I think the only car service in the city like that.
That was lucky. We just found that business card. But I mean, to me, this is all part of the activities too. You know, like we weren't on helicopters and doing all this crazy stuff. But the activities to me was walking around, seeing everything, you know, jumping on random taxis, jumping in random cars, going to Frightland. So that brings us to the activities. I think it's a wash in terms of what the funnest activity is. So I'm gonna go a different route, but I'll let you go first.
So I will take the obvious, and the obvious for me was Frightland.
So fun.
Oh, so fun. So those different mazes that we went through, I really wish we could have got those in camera, but they have rules against filming. But
That's how you know it's good.
The final maze that we went through, the pitch black, it was pitch black, and they had like a red light that you were supposed to follow. But then sometimes you couldn't see the red light, or it blinked or went off. So you got a little confused. And then you feel something like brush against your leg. And then you're hearing all these like monster sounds, and then some are right in your ear, and then you feel like you're being followed. So it was like, but you couldn't see a thing.
That's why it was so scary, because we're used to those Universal Studios mazes where there's so much production value that everything's lit up. You see everything, you see all the makeup, because they're like, this is professionally done.
Right.
Look at all of it. But when you take your sight completely out of the maze, it's just your imagination.
Right.
And then everything is 10 times scarier.
Yep.
So the theme was finding your way out of an attic. So everything was
Right.
old and wooden, but there was literally like people in all black suits lifting little compartments out of the wall so that they can reach out and touch you or grab you, or, you know, like do little things. There was even a part where there was a small hallway and there was just people's hands were just like going like this, and you had to go through it. Terrifying.
Thank you for leading us through that. You know what made it even more terrifying for me? They played with your emotions, because we went through the maze and then we went out. So we got outside. So I'm like, oh, it's over. Like, that was scary.
Oh, right.
And then we had to go back in.
You think you're done, and then there's a staircase that leads back into the dark.
Leads back into the dark. And that was it just took it to the next level for me, because you had already had that relief, and then you're just right back in it. So there's no way out. Like you going through the trenches. Either way, you can't turn around and go back, and you got to go forward. So I was just like, oh my God.
One thing they didn't have that all mazes have, you know how there's just like employees kind of like standing there like, go this way, keep going. It was not like that. Like, you literally had to fight your way out, and there were other groups that were get lost that were ahead of us, and we were just bumping into them like, whoa, who the hell are you? And they're like, we were before you. We've been here for 2 months.
Yeah, I was freaked out.
I loved it. I think Frightland was probably had some of the scariest mazes I've ever been to, and it's actually worth going all the way to Delaware if you're like super into Halloween, because we came back to some of these LA haunted mazes, and they were boof in comparison. They were taking us around parking lots that were like transformed.
The hayride.
We were seeing the handicap stickers in the bathrooms and
The
stuff.
LA hayride versus the Delaware hayride.
Oh my God. Just don't do the LA
Yeah.
one. Just don't do it.
It's like doing, LA is like doing a hayride in the daytime. And
well, I mean, they have
Delaware is
naturally scary cornfields that are just there all year. So we don't really. So, I mean, they just have to make do in a parking lot of a baseball stadium.
It's like a park or something. We saw the handicap parking spots. We saw the park bathroom, the light.
Real janky, but it's really cool that like, you know, there are places like this out there, and we're so lucky. We just stumbled upon like an award-winning top 10 in the country. What's it called? The Scream Park. I read that. But okay, so my activity was actually way more lackluster, but just in terms of the experience and how random it was a lot of fun. And I'm gonna say the water taxi. That's so boring.
Really?
So boring. But just to go to like the city docks, it was just completely lively. It reminded me of the Grove. It was just like all these like little shops, people walking around, pumpkins everywhere. And we were just kind of like walking on the dock. We were like, water taxi, what's that? And they told us, and we're like, all right. We paid like, what, $13 or something?
And then we just didn't get out. Like, it's like getting on the subway and just not getting off.
Yeah,
you know?
like somebody from like, you know, Europe going to New York and being like, this is the subway, huh? Cool. And that is an experience if you've never experienced it. But the locals are just like, what are you doing?
Right.
And we were just literally like seeing people like going up to yachts and people's sailboats. And they were just like, hey, what's up, Jim? And jumping in. And, you know, like couples and, you know, families were leaving restaurants and just instead of going to a parking lot, they'd walk to the end of the pier and a boat would pick them up. Like I was just like, this is really cool.
Yeah, that was my first time being in a water taxi. And I didn't even know that existed like that. So seeing that people just hop in, take them around to another side, hop out, go to their little restaurant, you know, to be dropped off at a yacht in the middle of the water, I was just like, wow.
Very
to be
cool.
dropped off and picked up, it was like,
different life.
Like,
They live in a
over
whole
here
different
living.
life. I just want to let you know that I lied. That wasn't my favorite thing. I just wanted to talk about it. We all know what my favorite thing was, and that was the Suka Cemetery. There was a cemetery on every square block. And she was so scared. It was awesome. We walked past it.
Why does it make you so satisfied to see me scared? I think because I'm like, I put on this hard exterior to where I'm just like always good, that you don't typically ever really see me scared. So that is something I was just like absolutely terrified. And you just ate it up like a bowl of cereal.
I like cemeteries at night. It's
Why?
It's a cool little aesthetic.
That is not cool.
I mean, I don't think zombies are gonna come up. Like, I'm more afraid of ghosts and stuff than that.
Well, you walk right through one right as soon as we walked in there.
It doesn't seem like there's any like real danger, you know?
What about possession?
Okay, I mean that, but I don't know if that happens at graveyards like that, you know? That just be happening in little white girls' houses.
Look,
the
graveyard was like, oh, we usually have to go to them, but that came to us. Like
convenience.
Convenience.
It was fun because it was exciting. It seemed like we kind of like broke in because the gates were all raggedy, and you did your thing. We went through the creepy old one. We went through the veteran one. We went through the small one in St. Michael's. And there was one in Dover. They were just all over the place, but I like the one in Annapolis.
You was scared to touch that grass, though.
Yeah,
that was the only thing.
I need a pathway. I'm not going off road in a graveyard. All right, so that was food and activities. Skin tuition. This is a new segment we're doing in fall. You might have seen a preview of it in the Niagara. Skin tuition is how we felt as Black people out there, and I think that is more custom to our experience than just the general crime out there. So let's talk about it. What was your skin tuition in all three places?
So, for the most part, I was good. There was one situation where I was just like, Lord, it just felt like we were in the movie Get Out. And it was right after we came from the arcade.
So Annapolis.
We were in Annapolis. We were walking back from the arcade, and a pickup truck with tinted windows. It probably, I don't remember, but it might have had an American flag on the back. I could be lying. But it passed us by, and we were the only ones walking on the street, which is one red flag. There was nobody else out. They drove past us and then made a U-turn. And once they made a U-turn, I said, oh, snap.
And U-turns in LA are so illegal that, when you see a U-turn, especially paired with a tire burn or a tire skirt, something's up.
I was just like, oh, Lord, please just let us get out of this situation alive. And
but nothing happened.
So nothing happened. Nothing happened. They passed us up. But that was just the only time that I was kind of jumbled.
I disagree. I think that at the arcade itself,
that too,
you did have a moment where you felt like, we were the only black people in there. The bartender was super nice.
Yes.
But I guess there was just like people there that they were looking a little,
They did not like our presence there. They did not. And I say you mad dogging and me mugging.
I didn't see it. But you were pretty jumbled up about it. And we knew Martini out there, but that was it. So
right.
we don't be just going into random cities and acting like we own the place. So we're very aware, and once you peeped it, we were like, all right, for sure.
Yeah.
Awareness on 100.
I went to another part of the arcade, like, let me just get away from that energy. So
so I mean, in terms of Annapolis as a whole, I agree. There were like little moments and flashes. I think we actually even met a black dude who was up there for like something to do with medicine or just something to do with his job, and he felt the exact same way. He was like, "Are there black people up here? Like, are we good?" And I think him and us, we kind of like agreed that it was surprisingly chill.
Right. For sure.
In terms of us, we were out at night. You saw us. We were walking the whole time. Only a few incidents, but for the most part, Annapolis seemed like a major city. It seemed very, very cool. St. Michael's was pretty much like the opposite. It was like a small town. But you saw the reaction to foreign black people. It was just like, whoa, what's up? How y'all doing? Where y'all from?
Right.
So it wasn't like the same type of like, hey, who are them? And even the waiter offered a ride home. So that whole place, honestly, of the three, I felt the safest in St. Michael's.
Yeah, for sure. It's a really, really small town. I was looking at the population a few years ago, and it was only 1,000. So it's a really, really small.
Really chill.
I had more than 1,000 people at my high school.
They have giant boat shows there, and I feel like they only do those in like little towns, So it was a cool experience. Definitely felt safe there. Dover, I probably felt the least safe in.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, like,
when we walked on that street with the cemetery.
We walked on that part, which was after the bar. It was a little seedy. And then there was a couple of areas around the pub that did feel like a little
downtown LA-ish.
Yeah, but like there was no part where I felt like I was, I don't know, like about to be harmed or anything.
It was a little skittish over there.
It was just a little like looks, kind of like that, just like having that awareness. If you know it's too much, you don't want people showing up to your Airbnb with torches and stuff.
Right.
But I think out of all three, Dover I felt the least safe in, but I didn't feel unsafe. There was a couple parts that were a little weird, but for the most part, my skin tuition for the whole trip, I would say, I don't know, out of a 10. Being the most safe, I would say it was like at a 7.
Okay, I agree.
7 out of 10.
Yep,
for sure.
7.5 for me.
I
have a travel hack.
Okay.
And it's really simple, and we kind of already brushed over it. And I don't know if I've said this before, but I think I have when we went to Laguna. Make sure you leave room for local suggestions. So you saw for us throughout our trip, it was very spontaneous. And but my biggest thing was Frightland. That was your favorite activity. And that was something that was a local suggestion. We didn't know about that when we woke up that morning.
Right.
But we went to a bar, talked to some people. What is there to do around here? They ended up telling us about one of the most dynamic haunted carnivals, scream parks in the U.S. So had we not talked to the locals and left some room in our itinerary before that, we might have missed that opportunity. So make sure you leave room in your itinerary for local suggestions. Don't pack your day with everything that you Googled and searched.
That's a good one. I think that it's super easy to be a slave to your itinerary and get overly excited before you go to a place and be like, all right, TripAdvisor said this. At 3 o'clock, we're doing this. At 4:30, we're doing this. At 6, we're doing this. And then you get tired. You eat the wrong meal. You know, you want to just like chill. There's a lot of things that the itinerary you could overdo it. And like you said, you can, miss out on some things that are just like in the moment.
And you can tell the locals like where you've been in that city if you've been there for a while, and they'll be like, why'd you go there? Like you should have went to X, Y, and Z. So it's really important. That's a huge
don't just aim for the big stuff in that city. Talk to people. Ask around what's the cool low-key things to do out here, because I know I'd be tired as hell when people come to LA for the first time and they're like, the Hollywood Walk of Fame, the observatory, and it's like, bro, we don't do that.
Right.
So yeah, that's a great travel hack. And I guess mine would just be piggybacking off of yours, just be spontaneous. Those are the best moments, really, like planning something and making it and getting there on time and doing it. That's cool, but like just being like, what's that? Let's do it. I feel like that's a really, really memorable thing on your trip. And there was not one pre-planned thing on this entire trip. Like everything was just like, what's this? Let's go. What is this? Let's go. So definitely.
We ended up staying at the Bates Motel in St. Michael's.
It wasn't that bad. It was quaint. That was my word of the episode, was quaint. But I hope you guys had a quaint time watching this season premiere. We are in the fall, and I'm really excited about this season.
I'm excited too.
Oh, I'm so glad you didn't do that the whole time.
Why?
Okay. All right, you guys. Just so you guys know, the fall season has amazing cities like Portland, Maine coming up, Vancouver, Canada, and some other surprises. So, all right, you guys, we will see you at the next city. I've been Patrick Cloud.
And I'm Persephanii.
Keep your bags packed. Later, guys.
Keep your bags packed, y'all.
Okay.
Y'all.